3. In the quiet hush of dawn, a new day begins, not just for the world, but for a tiny new life. Deep within a warm, cozy nest, a gentle tremor, a faint crack, and then a little beak pierces through. Welcome to the world, little one. With a final push, a fluffy, dandling yellow chick tumbles out into the soft hay, blinking in the first light. The air is fresh, filled with the sweet scent of morning dew and damp earth. A whole new world awaits, and our little adventurer is ready to explore. With wobbly first steps, the chick leaves the comfort of the nest. The ground beneath its tiny feet feels strange and wonderful, a mix of soft soil and tickly grass. The garden is a vast, green kingdom, stretching out like an endless carpet. Tower. Every blade of grass is a towering tree, every pebble a mighty boulder. The world is so big, and our hero is so very small. But there's no fear in its heart, only pure, unbridled curiosity. What wonders will this new day bring? 2. The first discovery is a splash of vibrant color. A patch of daisies, their white petals unfurled to greet the morning sun. Their yellow centers glowing like tiny suns themselves. The little chick tilts its head, chirping softly, as if asking, "What are you?" It gently pecks at a petal, feeling the soft, velvety texture. Nearby, a row of tulips stands tall and proud. Their brilliant red and orange cups holding drops of dew that sparkle like diamonds in the morning light. The garden is a painter's palette, and our chick is seeing it for the very first time. Suddenly, a flutter of movement catches its eye. A butterfly, its wings painted in intricate patterns of blue and black, dances through the air. It floats from one flower to another, a silent, graceful ballet. The chick watches, mesmerized. It tries to follow, hopping and skipping, its tiny wings giving a hopeful flutter. The butterfly seems to play along, leading a merry chase around a lavender bush. Its fragrant purple spikes perfuming the air. This is the first friend, the first game, a joyful dance between feather and wing. 3. The journey continues, deeper into the garden's heart. A ladybug, a tiny polished red jewel with black spots, crawls slowly up a broad green leaf. The chick observes, its head cocked to the side, fascinated by this tiny, moving speck. It learns that the world is full of creatures, big and small, each with its own purpose, its own little life. A fuzzy bumblebee hums a deep, contented tune as it dives into a snapdragon, and a snail leaves a glistening silver trail across a stone path. Every corner holds a new secret, a new friend to meet. The garden isn't just a place, it's a living, breathing community. As the sun climbs higher, casting a warm, golden glow over everything, our little chick finds a sunny spot to rest. It has seen so much, learned so much. It has felt the soft grass, smelled the sweet flowers, and danced with a butterfly. The world is not a scary place, but a beautiful adventure filled with wonder and friendship. Curling up in the warmth, the chick lets out a soft, happy peep, its tiny chest rising and falling in a peaceful rhythm. The garden has welcomed its newest resident, and this is just the beginning of a lifetime of sunny days and new discoveries. Our chick, with his bright, curious eyes, is pecking around in the soft, warm grass. Suddenly, he stops. What has he spotted? Jets, a long, dark line wiggling across the ground. He tilts his head. Chirp! What could that be? He hops closer, his tiny feet making soft thuds on the earth. It's not a wiggly worm or a funny-looking stick. It's a parade. A parade of tiny, busy ants. One by one, they march in a perfect line, each one carrying something. The chick leans in, his beak almost touching the ground. He sees an ant carrying a crumb that looks bigger than its own head. Wow! He chirps softly. How can something so small be so strong? He watches, completely fascinated, as another ant struggles with a large green leaf, almost like a giant sail. But it doesn't give up. Soon, another ant comes along and helps, pushing from behind. Together, they move the big leaf along. The little chick is amazed. He's never seen anything like it. It's like watching a tiny team of super strong builders at work. He notices they aren't just walking randomly. They're following a special, invisible trail. One ant stops for a second and seems to talk to another by touching its antennae. It's like they're sharing secrets. Chirp, chirp, our little chick tweets in excitement. Who understands now? They're working together. He starts to follow them, taking careful steps so he doesn't disturb their important work. The line of ants leads him across a smooth stone, over a bumpy patch of dirt, and through a forest of tall grass blades. The chick feels like he's on a secret mission, discovering the hidden world of the ants, who sees them helping each other climb over a twig, passing their food from one to another. It's not just one ant working hard. It's all of them, a huge family, working for the same goal. He realizes that even though he is much, much bigger than a single ant, there is so much he can learn from them. They show him that when you work together with your friends, you can carry the biggest burdens and achieve amazing things. It doesn't matter how small you are. What matters is having a big heart and helping hands. Or, in their case, helpful antennae. The chick watches them disappear into a tiny hole in the ground, their home. He lets out a happy little chirp, feeling inspired by the incredible teamwork he just witnessed. Look at him go, so full of energy and curiosity. The world is his playground, and every blade of grass, every little pebble, is a brand new discovery. He's pecking at the ground, maybe looking for a tasty worm or just saying hello to the earth. It's a beautiful day. The sun is shining. Oh, look at that! He's found a big, shimmering pond. It's like a giant wobbly mirror reflecting the bright blue sky. Poor little adventurer, being the brave soul he is, has to get a closer look. He's cautiously stepping towards the edge, tilting his head, probably wondering what this big, wet thing is. Maybe he sees his own reflection and is trying to make a new friend. The water ripples gently as a breeze blows by. It's such a peaceful, serene moment. Voodoo. Think is going through his tiny little head right now. Is he thinking of taking a dip? Whoops, a little trip, a little stumble, and splash. Right into the pond he goes. Don't worry, folks, he's a natural swimmer. Look at him paddle. He's kicking his little feet, sending tiny splashes everywhere. It seems he's turned an accident into a fun pool party, and he's not alone. Look who's come to join the fun. A group of friendly green frogs has hopped over to see what all the commotion is about. They're sitting on their lily pads, croaking what sounds like a cheerful welcome. It's like they're laughing with him, not at him. Ribbit, ribbit. Welcome to our home, little chick. This is amazing. Poor chick is having the time of his life, surrounded by his new frog buddies. He's bobbing up and down in the water, a tiny yellow boat in a big green pond. The frogs are jumping in and out, creating their own splashes and a chorus of happy croaks. It's a symphony of nature. This just goes to show that sometimes the most unexpected moments turn into the best memories. You wasn't planning on a swim, but now he's the guest of honor at the liveliest pond party of the year. He's probably telling them all about his adventures on land. As the sun begins to set, casting a warm golden glow over the water, it's time for our chick to say goodbye to his new friends. With a little help from a friendly lily pad, he hops back onto dry land, shaking his feathers and letting out a happy little peep. He's a bit wet, but he's full of joy and new stories to tell. He gives one last look back at the frogs, who croaked their goodbyes. What a day! From a simple stroll to an impromptu swim party, It reminds us to embrace the unexpected and find joy in the little surprises life throws our way. Today, we're following the adventures of our tiny, fluffy hero. Isn't he just the cutest? Look at him, pecking away at the ground, exploring this big, exciting world with so much curiosity. Every blade of grass is a new discovery, every little pebble a mountain to climb. The sun is shining, the birds are singing, and it feels like nothing could possibly go wrong on such a beautiful day. He's feeling brave and bold, venturing further and further from the nest. What do you think he's looking for? A juicy worm. A shiny beetle. Tits. A big world out there for such a small chick, full of wonders just waiting to be found. He's chirping happily to himself, a tiny song of pure joy. It's moments like these, so simple and pure, that remind us of the beauty all around us. He's completely lost in his own little world, a world filled with sunshine and endless possibilities. But wait! What's that? Suddenly, the cheerful sunlight disappears. A shadow, huge and dark, sweeps across the ground, swallowing the bright green grass in an instant. Our little chick freezes, his happy chirps caught in his throat. He looks up, his tiny eyes wide with alarm. What could cast such a giant shadow? It's moving fast, blotting out the sun and turning the vibrant day dark and ominous. His heart starts to beat like a tiny drum. That brave feeling he had just a moment ago has vanished, replaced by a sudden, chilling fear. The world, which seems so friendly and welcoming, now feels vast and dangerous. He's all alone, and something big is up there. The air grows still and quiet, the happy sounds of nature silenced by this sudden, looming presence. It's a feeling we all know, that moment when everything changes and fear takes over. It's a bird, but not a friendly little sparrow. This one is enormous, a majestic predator with a massive wingspan that seems to stretch from one side of the sky to the other. Its sharp, focused eyes are scanning the ground below. To our tiny chick, it must look like a winged monster, a dragon from a fairy tale. The sheer size of it is terrifying. He's never seen anything like it. The powerful wings beat the air, creating a silent, intimidating rhythm as it glides effortlessly overhead. This is the law of the wild, the reality of nature that is both beautiful and brutal. For the great bird, it's just another day of hunting. But for our little friend on the ground, it's a moment of pure, heart-stopping terror. He feels incredibly small and vulnerable, a tiny speck in a world of giants. He has to do something, and he has to do it fast. Instinct takes over. Without a second thought, our little chick scrambles for safety. He darts and dashes, his little legs moving faster than ever before. Where can he go? Where can he hide? His desperate eye spotted a large, broad leaf, curled just enough to offer a hiding spot. It's his only chance. He dives underneath it, tucking himself into the dark, damp space beneath the foliage. He holds his breath, trying to make himself as small and as still as possible. His whole world has shrunk to this tiny, dark shelter. He can hear the faint sound of the wind, or is it the whoosh of those giant wings passing overhead? Every nerve is on high alert. He peeks out with one eye, just a tiny bit, to see if the danger has passed. His little body is trembling, but he stays hidden, waiting, hoping, praying the shadow will move on and leave him in peace. And just as suddenly as it appeared, the shadow is gone. Sunlight streams back onto the forest floor, making the world bright and cheerful once again. The great bird has flown past, continuing its journey across the sky, unaware of the tiny life it so thoroughly terrified. Our little chick waits another moment, just to be sure. Shoo-woo, slowly, cautiously, pokes his head out from under the leaf. He looks left, he looks right, And then he looks up at the now empty blue sky. He's safe. The danger is over. He takes a deep, shaky breath and steps out from his hiding place, blinking in the bright sunlight. He might be a little shaken, but he's also a little wiser. Here you learnt a valuable lesson today about the world and his place in it. He survived his first big scare. What an incredible little survivor. Our brave little chick Pip has been exploring the world, one fluffy step at a time. After a good night's rest, a bright new day has dawned, filled with sunshine and the promise of new discoveries. Pip stretches his tiny wings, chirps a happy good morning to the world, and sets off, his curious little eyes scanning for something exciting. He waddles past the familiar barn, beyond the big shady oak tree, and towards a gentle, bubbling sound he's never heard before. What could it be? The sound grows louder, a soft, splashing melody. Pip peeks through a patch of tall, green reeds and his beak drops open in amazement. Before him is a sparkling pond, shimmering under the morning sun like a giant blue jewel. And there, gliding gracefully on the water, is a creature unlike any he's ever seen. It's small and covered in soft, yellow fuzz, just like him. But it has a flatter beak and webbed feet that paddle effortlessly. It's a little duckling. The duckling spots Pip and lets out a friendly quack. It's a sound that's both strange and wonderful to Pip's ears. Pip, feeling a little shy but very curious, chirps a soft peep. In reply, the duckling, whose name is Splash, quacks again and paddles closer to the edge of the pond. Come on in, Splash seems to say with a happy wiggle of his tail. Pip looks down at his own feet, then at the water. He's never been swimming before. He hesitates for a moment, a little nervous about the cool, wet water. Splash seems to understand. He gently nudges a floating lily pad towards Pip with his beak, as if offering a little boat. Seeing his new friend's kindness, Pip feels a surge of courage. He takes a tentative step, then another, until the cool water tickles his toes. It's a strange but refreshing feeling. He flaps his wings a little, creating tiny splashes of his own. Splash quacks with delight and starts to swim in playful circles around Pip. Inspired, Pip tries to paddle his feet just like Splash does. He wobbles and splashes, but soon he gets the hang of it, kicking and gliding through the water. They chase each other around the lily pads, their happy chirps and quacks echoing across the pond. They spend the whole afternoon playing. They dive for shiny pebbles at the bottom of the shallow end, race from one side of the pond to the other, and lie on the warm bank to dry their feathers in the sun, said. Pip learns how to make the biggest splash, and Splash shows Pip how to find the juiciest little water bugs. They don't need many words to understand each other. Their joyful games and shared laughter are a language all their own. As the sun begins to set, casting a golden glow over the water, Pip knows he has found something very special, a true friend. Hello, little explorers, and welcome back to our story. It looks like our friends, Pip the chick and Quackers the duckling, have found themselves in a bit of a pickle. They were so busy chasing a beautiful blue butterfly, giggling and hopping through the tall grass, that they didn't notice how far they had wandered from the cozy barn. The butterfly fluttered high into the sky and disappeared over a hill. Pip stopped and looked around. The familiar red barn was nowhere in sight. Quackers, he chirped, his little voice trembling just a bit. Do you know where we are? Quackers spun around, his webbed feet making a funny little circle in the dust. He quacked, looking at the tall, unfamiliar flowers. Thought you knew the way. Pip! Subtly. The meadow didn't seem so friendly anymore. The trees looked taller, and the shadows grew longer as the sun began to dip lower in the sky. A cool breeze rustled the leaves, and it sounded like a soft whisper telling them they were lost. Pip's fluffy feathers puffed up with worry. Quackers. Happy quacks turned into small, concerned peeps. Oh dear, Pip whispered. How will we get back home to Mama Hen and Mama Duck? They huddled close together, two tiny friends in a very big world. The path they had followed was gone, hidden by the tall grass. They tried walking one way, but it only led to a thicket of thorny bushes. They tried another way, but it ended at a wide, gurgling stream they were too small to cross. For the first time on their big adventure, Pip and Quackers felt a little scared. Being lost was not fun at all. Just as a tear began to well up in Pip's eye, they heard a new sound. It wasn't the wind. It wasn't the stream. It was a faint, friendly moo coming from over the next hill. Could it be a friend? Could it be someone who could help them find their way back home? Hope sparked in their little hearts. Let's go see. Quackers said bravely, puffing out his chest. Taking a deep breath, the two friends started waddling towards the sound, hoping their adventure wasn't over just yet. What? We think they'll find? A little yellow chick and a small, fluffy duckling found themselves all alone. The world, which had been so bright and cheerful just moments before, was now growing dark and a little bit scary. The tall grasses looked like strange, waving figures, and every rustle of the leaves made them jump. Chirp, chirp, whispered the chick, his tiny voice trembling. It's so dark. I can't see the path back to our warm nests. He huddled closer to his friend, feeling a shiver run through his soft feathers. Quack, agreed the duckling, his own voice small and worried. He waddled in a little circle, peering into the growing gloom. I wish the moon would come out. Everything looks so different at night. I feel a little lost. They stood together, two tiny bundles of fluff in the vast, darkening field. A cool evening breeze whispered through the grass, making them feel even smaller and more alone. The chick looked up at the first stars beginning to twinkle in the deep blue sky. They were beautiful, but they were so far away, offering little light to guide their way home. The duckling tucked his head under his wing for a moment, wishing for the familiar comfort of his mother's feathers. Just as a tear began to well up in the little chick's eye, something magical happened. A tiny light blinked on in the grass nearby. Then another and another. It was like a star had fallen from the sky just for them. Soon, dozens of glowing fireflies emerged from the shadows, their gentle lights dancing in the air all around the two little friends. They blinked and pulsed, creating a soft, golden glow that pushed back the darkness. Chirp, chirp, the little chick chirped with delight, his fear melting away like morning mist. The fireflies weren't scary at all. They were beautiful. Their light was warm and friendly, and they seemed to be dancing just for them. Quack. Quack, the duckling quacked happily, his webbed feet doing a little joyful shuffle. He stretched his neck and watched in wonder as the fireflies swirled around them, creating a sparkling, living lantern in the middle of the night. One brave firefly hovered right in front of the chick's beak, its light pulsing gently, as if to say, "Don't be afraid. We'll show you the way." Then, as if they all agreed, the cloud of fireflies began to move slowly, floating just above a faint path that led through the meadow. They formed a glowing, twinkling trail, lighting up the way forward. The chick and the duckling looked at each other, their eyes wide with excitement. They weren't lost anymore. With happy chirps and cheerful quacks, they began to follow the gentle, glowing lights. Their little feet pattered softly on the earth as they walked, bathed in the magical radiance of their new friends. The scary shadows were gone, replaced by a soft, enchanting glow. The fireflies led them through the tall grass, past the sleeping flowers, and under the low-hanging branches of a willow tree. The journey, which had seemed so frightening just a few minutes ago, was now a wonderful adventure. The chick hopped and skipped, trying to gently touch the little lights with his wing, while the duckling waddled along, his heart full of gratitude and joy. Finally, they soared. Just ahead, nestled in a cozy patch of reeds by the pond, was their home. Flight of the fireflies danced over their familiar nest, making it look even more warm and inviting. With one last, bright flicker, the fireflies seemed to wave goodbye before scattering back into the night, their job done. The little chick and the duckling snuggled into their nest, safe and sound. They knew they would never forget the night the stars came down to light their way home. Our two best friends, the fluffy yellow chick and the adorable little duckling, have stumbled upon a brand new challenge on their journey. It's a sparkling, babbling stream, just a bit too wide for their tiny legs to wade through. But fear not, nature has provided them with the perfect solution, a natural bridge made of fallen branches. Isn't it amazing how the world works together? This isn't a bridge built by anyone, but a gift from the trees and the wind. It stretches across the water like a rustic pathway, inviting them to continue their exploration. Now, the real adventure begins. The duckling, ever the confident one, takes the first tentative step onto the branch. You can see the concentration in its eyes, its little webbed feet gripping the wood carefully. The chick watches for a moment, perhaps gathering its courage. It chirps softly, as if asking the duckling, "Is it safe?" The duckling looks back and gives a reassuring little quack. That's all the encouragement our chick needs. It hops onto the bridge, following its friend. Notice how they move step by tiny step. It's a delicate balancing act. One foot in front of the other, their little bodies wobbling just a tiny bit with each movement. This is a wonderful lesson in teamwork and trust. The duckling leads the way, showing the chick that there's nothing to be afraid of. And the chick, trusting its friend completely, follows bravely. They aren't rushing. They are taking their time, respecting the challenge, and working together to overcome it. The water glistens below them, reflecting the clear blue sky and the green leaves of the trees overhead. It's like they're walking on a tightrope in their very own circus of the woods. Look at the chick's focus. Its tiny head is down, watching where it places its feet. Every muscle in its small body is engaged in this task. This might seem like a small stream to us, but for them, it's a grand canyon. And this branch is their majestic Golden Gate Bridge, too. It's moments like these that build character and strengthen the bonds of friendship. They are learning that, with a little bit of bravery and a good friend by your side, you can conquer any obstacle that comes your way. They're almost to the other side now. The duckling, having reached the safety of the grassy bank, turns to watch its friend complete the journey. It quacks encouragement, a little cheerleader waiting at the finish line. With one final, determined hop, the chick lands safely beside the duckling. Success! They did it! You can almost feel their sense of accomplishment. They paused for a moment, looking back at the bridge they just crossed, perhaps a little proud of their bravery. On the winding path through the meadow, our two little friends, the tiny yellow chick and the small, fluffy duckling, are continuing their grand adventure. The sun is warm on their feathers, and the world is full of wonderful sights and sounds. They chirp and quack to each other, pointing out a buzzing bee here and a colorful butterfly there. Every step is a new discovery, and they couldn't be happier to be exploring together. Their little legs are getting a bit tired, but their spirits are high. What do you think they'll find next on this beautiful day? Wait, what was that sound? A rustle in the leaves just beside the path. The chick and the duckling stop in their tracks, their little heads tilting with curiosity. They inch closer, peeking through the tall blades of grass. Suddenly, something brown and spiky darts out, and then, just as quickly, it rolls up into a tight, prickly ball. The chick jumps back with a surprised peep, and the duckling lets out a startled quack. They've never seen anything like it. It looks like a funny, spiky stone that appeared out of nowhere. They cautiously circle the strange ball. The chick gently pecks at it with its tiny beak. Ouch! That was pointy. The duckling waddles a bit closer and nudges it with its bill. but the ball doesn't move. It just sits there, a perfect sphere of prickles. What could it be? Is it a strange kind of fruit? A weird plant? They look at each other, their eyes wide with wonder and a little bit of confusion. They had seen many things on their walk, but this was the most puzzling thing yet. Slowly, ever so slowly, the ball begins to uncurl. A little wet nose twitches, sniffing the air. Then, two tiny, shiny black eyes appear, followed by a set of small ears. It's a hedgehog! The chick and the duckling gasp in delight. The hedgehog looks at them with its curious eyes, no longer scared. It had only rolled up because it was surprised to see them. Now it sees they are just two small, friendly birds. The hedgehog gives a little wiggle of its nose, as if to say hello. The chick, feeling brave now, gives a cheerful chirp. The duckling waddles a little closer and quacks a friendly greeting. The hedgehog seems to understand. It unrolls completely, standing on its four little legs. The chick and the duckling can now see its soft, furry tummy underneath all those spines. It's actually quite cute. They had been so surprised by its spiky defense, but now they saw a gentle creature just like them. What a wonderful new friend to meet on their journey. The three new friends stand together on the path for a moment. A perfect picture of curiosity and friendship. The little hedgehog, the tiny chick, and the small duckling. They don't speak the same language, but they understand each other perfectly. After a moment, the hedgehog gives them one last friendly twitch of its nose before it ambles back into the leafy bushes, continuing on its own adventure. The chick and the duckling watch it go, their hearts full of joy from the surprising encounter. They turn to each other, chirping and quacking excitedly about the funny, spiky, and very sweet friend they just made. Their adventure continues, but this special meeting has made their day even brighter. They learned that sometimes things that seem strange or scary at first can turn out to be wonderful and friendly. The sky, which was so bright and blue just a moment ago, has begun to change. Big, fluffy white clouds have gathered together, turning a soft, sleepy gray. A cool breeze whispers through the meadow, making the tall grasses and colorful wildflowers dance. It carries the fresh scent of rain, a smell of damp earth and clean air that promises a refreshing shower. The tiny yellow chick and the small duckling look up at the sky. They feel the first few drops of rain, like tiny, cool kisses on their feathers. One drop, then another, and then a gentle pitter-patter begins all around them. The little chick fluffs up its downy feathers, feeling the coolness. The duckling wiggles its tail feathers, happy for the change in the weather. There. The raindrops become bigger and fall faster. The meadow starts to sing a new song. It's the sound of rain drumming on leaves, splashing into puddles, and tapping on the petals of the flowers. The two friends know it's time to find a cozy spot to wait out the shower. They look around, their little eyes searching for the perfect shelter. There, just a few hops away, they spot it. A big, beautiful mushroom with a wide, round cap, like a perfect little umbrella provided by nature itself. It's a lovely toadstool, with a bright red top dotted with little white spots, standing proudly among the green clover. "Quick!" chirps the chick, and they scurry towards it, their tiny feet making soft, pattering sounds on the damp ground. They nestle together underneath the mushroom's broad cap. It's so cozy and dry here. Third, the world outside is a blur of falling water, but under their mushroom roof, they are perfectly safe. They can hear the rain drumming a steady, rhythmic beat on the cap above them, a soothing lullaby from the sky. It sounds like 1,000 tiny drummers all playing at once. There, the little duckling tucks its head under its wing, feeling sleepy and content. The chick snuggles close, listening to the peaceful sound of the rain. They watch as the raindrops create tiny ripples in the puddles forming on the meadow floor. Each drop makes a little circle that grows and disappears, like a magic trick. The leaves of the plants around them are washed clean, glistening a vibrant glossy green. They are not scared of the storm. They are simply enjoying the moment. Being together, warm and dry, listening to the music of the rain, feels like a special adventure. The heavy downpour is not a scary thing, but a chance to rest and appreciate the simple wonders of their world. Time seems to slow down as they sit in their little hideaway, two tiny friends sharing a quiet, peaceful moment until the sun decides to peek out once more. Oh, look! The rain has stopped and the clouds are parting. What do you think we'll see? Wow! Just look at that! A magnificent rainbow is stretching all the way across the bright blue sky. It's like a giant, colorful smile just for us. The little yellow chick is chirping with pure delight. Cheep, cheep, cheep. It's so beautiful. He sings, hopping from one foot to the other. His fluffy feathers seem to glow in the rainbow's light. And look over there. The small duckling is just as excited. He's flapping his little wings and quacking happily. Quack, quack. I've never seen anything so amazing. He says, waddling closer to get a better view. Can you see all the colors? There's red, like a juicy apple, and orange, like a sweet carrot. There's yellow, just like our little chick, and green, like the fresh grass after the rain. Next comes blue, as deep as the pond, and indigo, and finally violet, like a pretty flower. The chick and the duckling stand side by side, their little heads tilted up towards the sky. The world feels so fresh and new after the rain. The air smells clean, and every leaf on the trees is sparkling with leftover raindrops, like tiny diamonds. They both feel so happy and peaceful, sharing this special moment together. The rainbow feels like a magical promise of more sunny days and fun adventures to come. They can't wait to tell all their friends about the incredible rainbow they saw. Oh, look at these two little adventures. Our fluffy yellow chick, let's call him Pip, and his best friend, the equally adorable duckling, Waddles, are off on another grand exploration. The world is so big and full of wonders when you're just a few inches tall. They've discovered a field of tall green grass that towers over them like a giant forest. Doesn't it look exciting? They bravely step inside, the green blades tickling their noses. One step, two steps, and suddenly the familiar path is gone. They're surrounded by a sea of green. Pip lets out a tiny peep. Peep! His little voice sounds a bit worried. Can't see over the grass, and for a moment he feels all alone. But then he hears a comforting sound. Quack, quack! It's Waddles. He's not far away. Waddles wiggles his tail feathers and pushes through a thick bunch of grass. Quack, he says again, as if to say, I'm right here. Pip, don't you worry. Pip feels so much better hearing his friend's voice. He peeps back, a little louder this time. Peep! Peep! This gives them a brilliant idea. They'll play a game of call and response to navigate their way through this grassy maze. Pip peeps and Waddles quacks in return, guiding each other with their voices. Peep! Calls Pip from behind a tall stalk. Quack! Answers Waddles from a sunny patch just ahead. It's like a game of Marco Polo, but for a chick and a duckling. With every call and answer, they get a little closer. The rustling sound of their tiny feet moving through the grass is the only other sound in their green world. They are a team, working together to solve the puzzle. They're making progress. Waddles, with his slightly bigger webbed feet, is a natural trailblazer. He pushes aside the grass, creating a small tunnel for Pip to follow. Pip scurries right behind him, his little legs working hard to keep up. Sometimes, a blade of grass will bend down and boop him on the head, and he'll shake his fluffy body, sending tiny dewdrops flying. Waddles finds this very funny and lets out a happy series of quacks. Their little adventure has turned from a bit scary into a whole lot of fun. They are not lost. They are just exploring together. Look, do you see that? A bright patch of light up ahead. They can see the edge of the grass maze. With a final burst of energy, they push through the last few blades of grass and tumble out into the open sunshine. They made it. They found their way out all by themselves. Pip chirps excitedly and does a little happy dance, flapping his tiny wing buds. Waddles joins in, quacking triumphantly and wiggling his entire body with joy. They stand there for a moment, blinking in the bright light, side by side. What a grand adventure that was! It just goes to show that with a good friend by your side, even the scariest maze is just another fun game to play. In the soft, warm glow of the afternoon sun, our tiny yellow chick, whose name was Pip, and his best friend, the small duckling named Quackers, found themselves in a bit of a pickle. Kay had wandered far from the familiar sights and sounds of the farm, chasing after a particularly bouncy grasshopper. Now, the grasshopper was gone, and the path back home seemed to have vanished with it. A blade of grass and every colorful wildflower looked exactly the same. Pip chirped nervously, his little fluff standing on end. "Oh, Quackers," he peeped. "I think we're lost. How will we ever get back to the warm barn and our mothers?" Quackers waddled in a small circle, his little webbed feet pattering on the soft earth. "Don't you worry, Pip," he quacked, trying to sound much braver than he felt. "I'm a duckling. We're excellent navigators. The way back is ... this way." He pointed confidently with his wing toward a dense patch of ferns. Pip followed, his hope rekindled, but after just a few steps, they realized they were even deeper in the meadow, and the farm was nowhere in sight. Just as Pip's chirps started to sound a little wobbly and Quacker's confidence began to deflate, a slow, gentle voice drifted toward them. "In a hurry to go nowhere, little ones." They both stopped and looked around. At the base of an old mossy log, a very old and very wise turtle was slowly munching on a juicy red clover. His shell was a beautiful mosaic of greens and browns, like a map of all the places he had ever been. He had kind, crinkly eyes that seemed to hold the wisdom of many, many seasons. Pip and Quackers stared, completely mesmerized. They had never seen such a magnificent creature up close. The turtle took another slow bite and looked at them. "You seem to have strayed quite a bit from the main path," he said, his voice calm and steady, like the gentle flow of a stream. "The farm is a good distance from here if you go the long way." Quackers puffed out his chest. "We weren't lost," he declared. "We were just ... exploring." The turtle chuckled, a low, rumbling sound. Exploring. A noble pursuit, but sometimes the best part of exploring is finding the quickest way back home when you're tired. The turtle, whose name was Sheldon, pushed himself up with his sturdy legs. "It seems to me," he said thoughtfully, "that you two have been running in circles, chasing after things that hop away. The fastest way isn't always a straight line, especially when you don't know which straight line to take." He began to move, ever so slowly, toward a small clearing. Pip and Quackers hurried to keep up, which wasn't very difficult at all. "See this cluster of bluebells?" Sheldon asked, nodding his head toward a patch of delicate nodding flowers. "And over there, the big oak tree with a crooked branch that looks like a friendly wave." The little friends looked and saw exactly what he described. Walk from the bluebells directly toward that crooked branch. You will find a little trail worn down by the rabbits. He paused, letting them take it all in. "It's a shortcut. It winds a little, but it will lead you right back to the edge of the farmer's cornfield. From there, you'll hear the familiar sounds of home." Pip chirped with excitement. "A shortcut. Thank you, Mr. Sheldon." Quackers looked a little embarrassed but very grateful. Yes, thank you. 3. We were just about to figure that out. Of course, he added quickly, making the old turtle smile. Sheldon nodded gently. Remember, little ones, he advised, his voice full of warmth. Sometimes, the best way forward is to slow down, look around, and listen to those who have traveled the path before you. Now, off you go, for mothers will be waiting. With a final, thankful peep and quack, Pip and Quackers followed the turtle's directions. They found the rabbit trail exactly where he said it would be. And soon, the familiar clucking of the hens and the lowing of the cows reached their ears. They raced the rest of the way, their hearts full of relief and a new piece of wisdom, gifted to them by their slow and very, very clever new friend. They knew they would never forget the wise turtle who showed them that sometimes you have to go slow to get where you're going fast. Today, we're following our two tiniest and fluffiest friends, Pip the chick and Quackers the duckling. Look at them, waddling side by side, exploring the big wide world of the meadow. The sun is shining, the grass is green, and every little leaf and flower is a brand new discovery for them. Pip, with his bright yellow down, is pecking curiously at a dandelion, while Quackers, ever the adventurer, is trying to see if a fallen leaf makes a good boat. They are the best of friends, and their days are filled with endless curiosity and fun. Isn't it just wonderful to see the world through their fresh, innocent eyes? Every day is a new story waiting to unfold. Oh, as they continue their grand tours of the meadow, their little feet lead them towards a part of the garden they haven't seen before. The air here seems different, filled with a gentle, humming sound. What could it be? Pip chirps, tilting his tiny head, and Quackers waddles a little faster, his curiosity piqued. They see something unusual hanging from the branch of an old apple tree. It's a beautifully crafted, teardrop-shaped structure, buzzing with life. It's a beehive. Hundreds of tiny, busy bees are flying in and out, their legs dusted with golden pollen. It's like a bustling city, and our two little explorers are completely fascinated by the sight and sound of it all. They've never seen anything quite like it. Drawn in by the mesmerizing buzz, Pip and Quackers inch closer. They so captivated by the bees' dance that they don't realize they're getting a bit too close to the hive's entrance. A few of the bees, acting as guards, notice the two fluffy visitors. They start to buzz a little louder, a little more insistently. It's not an angry sound, but a clear warning. Hey, you're in our personal space. Pip freezes, sensing the change in the air. Quackers, who is about to get even closer, stops and looks at his friend. They understand. This is the bees' home, a very busy and important place, and they need to be respectful. It's a valuable lesson learned without any trouble, a lesson in boundaries and respecting the homes of other creatures. Fliesly, the little duo slowly and carefully backs away. They find a safe spot under a large fern a good distance away, where they can still watch the hive without disturbing its residents. From here, they can see the bees continuing their work, flying off to collect nectar and returning to their amazing home. Pip and Quackers have learned something very important today. Every creature, big or small, has its own space that needs to be respected. The meadow is big enough for everyone to share, as long as we are considerate of each other. They'll remember the buzzing bees and the lesson they taught them for a long, long time. Their adventure continues, but now with a little more wisdom. As the sun begins to set, casting long shadows across the meadow, Pip and Quackers start their journey back to the warm, cozy barn. They're a little tired from their big day of exploration, but their hearts are full of new experiences. They learned about flowers, about leaves, and most importantly, about the busy lives of bees and the importance of giving others space. They walk, side by side, two tiny friends, in a vast and wonderful world, already dreaming of the adventures that tomorrow will bring. What a perfect end to a perfect day on the farm! The grass dances and sways, a sea of green under the vast, open sky. And here he is. Meet our tiny hero, a little yellow chick, as fluffy as a dandelion puff. He's full of curiosity and courage, stepping out to explore this big, exciting world. Every blade of grass is a new discovery, every pebble a mountain to be conquered. He chirps with delight, his little heart filled with the pure joy of adventure. Isn't he just the sweetest thing you've ever seen? He feels so brave today, ready to take on anything. But as he ventures further up the hill, the world begins to change. The gentle breeze that ruffled his feathers a moment ago is becoming a powerful, gusting wind. Whoosh! It rushes past, making the tall grasses bow down. 2. You can see our little chick pausing, feeling the sheer force of it. He plants his tiny feet firmly, determined not to be pushed around. He's small, but his spirit is mighty. He leans into the wind, a tiny speck of yellow against the vast, moving landscape. With every step he takes towards the summit, the wind grows stronger. It's a real struggle now. Stumbles, his little wings flapping uncontrollably, not for flight, but just to keep his balance. One particularly strong gust sends him tumbling sideways. Oh, you poor little thing. He rolls in the soft grass, a bit dizzy, but completely unharmed. He shakes his head, gets back on his feet, and looks around, perhaps wondering if this adventure was such a good idea after all. The world suddenly seems very big and a little bit scary. Just as our chick is about to give up, a friend appears. Waddling steadily up the hill is a small duckling. Unlike the chick, the duckling seems perfectly at home in the wind. Its webbed feet give it a solid, sturdy base, and its broader body isn't so easily tossed about. The duckling sees the chick struggle and without a moment's hesitation comes right over. It gives a reassuring little quack as if to say, "Don't worry, I'm here to help." The duckling positions itself right beside the chick, on the side where the wind is blowing strongest. It becomes a living, breathing shield. When the next powerful gust of wind arrives, the duckling leans in, taking the full force of it, creating a calm little pocket of air for the chick. The chick, feeling safe and protected, chirps with gratitude. Look at them, a perfect team. It's amazing how the smallest act of kindness can make the biggest difference. Together, they are stronger than the wind. Now, side by side, they continue their journey to the top of the hill. The chick no longer stumbles or tumbles. With his brave friend by his side, he walks with a newfound confidence. They move slowly but surely, a tiny team united against the elements. This beautiful moment teaches us such a valuable lesson. Life will always have its windy hills. But having a friend to lean on can help us weather any storm. They're almost at the top now, ready to see the view they earned together. Our two little friends. The tiny yellow chick and the small duckling found themselves huddled together. The world, once so bright and familiar, was now cloaked in the shadows of twilight. A gentle breeze rustled the leaves, and the sounds of the day gave way to the quiet whispers of the night. They were just two small adventurers in a very big, dark world, and a shiver of uncertainty ran through them. The path ahead was unclear, and every shadow seemed to hold a mystery. They chirped and quacked softly to each other, their little voices a small comfort in the growing darkness. Where would they go? How would they find their way back to the warmth and safety of their cozy nests? Suddenly, a tiny light flickered nearby. Then another, and another. It was like a single star had decided to come down from the sky to say hello. Soon, the air around the chick and the duckling was filled with a soft, gentle radiance. It wasn't a harsh light, but a warm, golden glow, pulsing with a gentle rhythm. They looked up in wonder and saw that they were surrounded by a swarm of the most amazing creatures, lanthorn bugs. Each bug carried a tiny, living lamp on its back, a soft luminescence that pushed back the darkness. They weren't scary at all. In fact, they seemed friendly, their lights blinking as if to say, "Don't be afraid, little ones. We are here." The cloud of glowing bugs formed a magical, moving canopy above them. The little chick tilted his head, his black eyes reflecting the dozens of tiny lights. The small duckling wiggled his tail feathers in delight, no longer feeling the chill of the evening. The lantern bugs seemed to understand that our friends were lost. They swirled and danced in the air, creating a softly lit path through the tall grasses. It was as if they were guiding them, creating a private, illuminated road just for them. The soft glow made the dewdrops on the leaves sparkle like tiny diamonds. And the world was transformed from a scary, dark place into a breathtaking wonderland. Following their new glowing friends, the chick and the duckling waddled side by side. The fear they had felt just moments ago was replaced with a sense of awe and security. The rhythmic pulsing of the lights was calming, like a lullaby sung by the night itself. The bugs didn't rush them. They moved at a gentle pace, always staying close. They combined, light a protective shield against the unknown. The chick would occasionally let out a happy peep, and the duckling would respond with a contented quack, their sounds mingling with the soft hum of the lantern bug's wings. It was a beautiful symphony of light and sound, a moment of pure magic that they would never forget. The gentle procession continued, a river of light flowing through the quiet meadow. The lantern bugs led them around large stones and through clearings, their collective wisdom guiding the way. The chick and the duckling felt completely safe, wrapped in this warm, living blanket of light. It was a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always light to be found, often in the most unexpected of places. And sometimes, help comes not with a loud announcement, but with a quiet, gentle glow. Today, we join in two of the tiniest, fluffiest friends you've ever seen on a brand new adventure. Let's see what our little yellow chick and their dear friend, the small duckling, are up to now. The sun shone brightly through the leaves, dappling the forest floor with warm, golden light. Birds were singing their happiest songs, and a gentle breeze rustled the tall grasses. It was a perfect day, but for our little yellow chick, something wasn't quite right. His tiny tummy was starting to make funny noises. Asterisk rumble, rumble, grumble. He hopped from one foot to the other, pecking at the ground here and there, but all he found were dry twigs and little pebbles. Oh dear! He chirped softly to himself, his voice a tiny squeak. I'm so very hungry. He looked around the big, wide meadow. Everything seemed so large and he felt so small. His tummy rumbled again, even louder this time. And he felt his cheerful energy begin to fade. It's hard to be adventurous when your stomach feels all empty inside. He let out a little sigh and sat down on a soft patch of moss, his fluffy yellow feathers drooping just a bit. He missed the warmth of his nest and the yummy seeds his mother would find. Out here, all on his own, finding a meal felt like the biggest challenge in the world. Just then, he heard a happy little quack. Quack! Hello there! Where's his best friend, the small duckling, waddling over with a cheerful bounce in his step. The duckling noticed the chick looked a little sad. What's the matter? The duckling asked, tilting his head. You look like you've lost your chirpiest chirp. The chick looked up, his little beak trembling. I'm just so hungry, he peeped. My tummy is all rumbly and I can't find anything to eat. The duckling's kind eyes softened with concern. Oh, you poor thing. A rumbly tummy is no fun at all. The duckling looked around, his mind working quickly. He remembered seeing something interesting just a moment ago. Don't you worry one bit. he quacked reassuringly. I think I know just the thing. Follow me, Veds. With newfound hope, the little chick hopped up and followed his friend, his tiny feet pattering quickly to keep up with the duckling's waddle. The duckling led the way, his webbed feet making soft prints in the damp earth. He waddled confidently towards a large leafy bush that grew near the edge of a sparkling stream. Just exploring over here, the duckling explained, and I found a secret treasure. The chick's eyes grew wide with curiosity. A treasure? What could it be? He peeked around the duckling, trying to see what was so special about this particular bush. The duckling pushed aside a low-hanging branch with his beak, and there, nestled amongst the green leaves, was a cluster of tiny, round berries. They were a beautiful, deep red color, glistening like little jewels in the sunlight. Ta-da! The duckling announced proudly. Berries! They looked so juicy and sweet. I thought they would be a perfect snack. The chick gasped. They were the most wonderful thing he had seen all day. The duckling didn't hesitate. He carefully plucked one of the berries with his beak, and gently set it down on a large leaf right in front of the chick. Here you go, he said with a warm quack. You have the first one. You're the one with the rumbly tummy, after all. The little chick looked from the delicious berry to his kind friend. His heart felt as full as his tummy was about to be. Oh, thank you, the chick chirped, his voice filled with gratitude. He took a tiny peck at the berry. It was bursting with sweet, delicious juice. It was even better than he had imagined. He quickly gobbled it up, and then another and another. The duckling watched, happy just to see his friend enjoying the treat. He plucked a few for himself, and together, the two friends sat side by side under the bush, sharing the sweet berries and chattering happily. With his tummy full and his spirit lifted, the chick felt like his cheerful self again. The world didn't seem so big and scary anymore, not when he had a friend like the duckling by his side. It wasn't just the berries that had made him feel better, too. It was the kindness his friend had shown him. Sharing a meal, no matter how small, had made it the best meal ever. The sun seemed to shine even brighter. Once upon a time, nestled deep within a lush, green forest, lived a fluffy, tiny yellow chick named Pip and a brave little duckling named Quackers. They were the best of friends, and their days were always filled with sunshine, laughter, and exciting adventures. One bright afternoon, they decided to explore a part of the forest they had never seen before, where the trees grew tall and close together, their leaves forming a thick canopy that dappled the sunlight on the forest floor. As they waddled deeper into the woods, the air began to change. A gentle breeze started to whisper through the leaves, rustling them like a soft lullaby. Pip chirped happily, hopping from one mossy stone to another. Isn't this fun, Quackers? He peeped. Geez, it feels like the trees are whispering secrets to us. Quackers quacked in agreement, his little webbed feet padding softly on the earthy path. The forest was so peaceful and full of wonderful new smells and sounds. But then, the gentle whisper began to grow louder. It started as a low hum, then it grew into a strange, wailing sound that echoed through the trees. Oh, 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 ooh, ooh, the sound was unlike anything they had ever heard before. It seemed to come from everywhere at once, bouncing off the tree trunks and swirling around them. Pip's tiny feathers fluffed up in surprise, and he stopped hopping. What was that? Quackers, he whispered, his voice trembling just a little. Quackers tilted his head, listening intently. I'm not sure, Pip, he said, trying to sound brave. It sounds, ... spooky. The sound grew louder still, a long, howling moan that seemed to chase them through the woods. Ooh, ooh. Pip huddled close to Quackers, his little heart beating like a drum. The shadows of the trees suddenly seemed longer and darker. Every rustle of a leaf sounded like a giant footstep. "Is that a monster?" Pip chirped, his eyes wide with fear. "A big, scary forest monster." Quackers puffed out his chest. "I don't know, but we have to be brave," he declared, though his own little quack was a bit shaky. They stood back to back, ready to face whatever was making that terrifying noise. The howling continued, now sounding like a sad cry that rose and fell with the wind. The friends looked all around, searching for the source of the mysterious sound. They peered behind thick bushes, peeked into shadowy hollows, and glanced up at the highest branches, but they saw nothing. Just trees, leaves, and the dancing shadows. The wind whipped through the forest, making the branches sway and groan. Pip shivered, not from the cold, but from the chilling sound that filled the air. "I want to go home," he whimpered, tucking his head under Quacker's wing. Quackers, feeling his friend tremble, knew he had to be strong for both of them. "Don't worry, Pip," he said reassuringly. "We're in this together. Let's try to find out what it is." Taking a deep breath, Quackers led the way, with Pip following closely behind. They walked towards a cluster of old, gnarled trees. As they got closer, the howling sound became incredibly loud. It was coming from right in front of them. They saw an old oak tree with a large, dark hole in its trunk. Each time a gust of wind blew past, it funneled into the hole and created the eerie, howling wail. Woo-woo. A light of understanding dawned on Quacker's face. He started to giggle. "Pip, look!" he quacked, pointing his bill at the hollow tree. "It's not a monster. It's just the wind." Pip peeked out from behind Quackers and watched. A strong breeze blew, and the tree howled. The wind died down, and the sound stopped. It was just the wind, playing a trick on them. Pip began to giggle too, a wave of relief washing over him. The spooky noise was just the forest playing its own kind of music. The scary monster was nothing more than air whistling through a hole. Feeling silly and brave all at once, they spent the rest of the afternoon listening to the howling trees, their fear replaced with fascination. They learned that sometimes things that seem scary at first are not so scary once you understand them. As the sun began to set, casting long golden rays through the woods, Pip and Quackers waddled back home, hand in wing. Their hearts full of the day's adventure, they knew they would never forget the day they met the howling wind in the forest. Today, we continue the heartwarming adventure of our two little friends, the tiny yellow chick and the small duckling. After a long and exciting journey, with many new friends made and challenges overcome, our brave explorers were finally on their way back. The sun had begun to set, painting the sky in beautiful shades of orange and purple. The air grew cooler, and the world around them became quiet, hushed in the gentle embrace of twilight. The chick, whose tiny legs were getting a little tired, chirped softly, "Are we almost there, quacky friend?" The duckling, waddling steadily beside him, looked ahead with hopeful eyes. "I think so, little cheaper. Oh, I can smell the sweet hay from the barn. And listen, can you hear it?" They both stopped and held their breath. Faintly, carried on the evening breeze, they could hear the familiar, comforting sounds of the farm. The gentle moo of a cow settling down for the night, the distant baa of a sheep, and the proud crow of the rooster. Announcing the end of the day, a wave of warmth and happiness washed over them. "Home," the chick chirped, his tiredness forgotten. He started to hop and skip with renewed energy. The duckling quacked with joy, flapping his little wings. "Yes, home, let's hurry." Their little feet padded faster along the dirt path. They scurried past the big oak tree where they had often played hide and seek, and raced alongside the babbling brook that shimmered under the rising moon. Every rock, Every flower, every blade of grass felt familiar and welcoming. And then they saw it. Through a clearing in the trees, twinkling like a cluster of fallen stars, were the warm golden lights of the farmhouse. The barn was silhouetted against the dark blue sky, a beacon of safety and love. It was the most beautiful sight they had ever seen. Look, look, it's our farm. The duckling quacked excitedly, pointing with his wing. The chick jumped up and down, his fluffy yellow feathers bouncing. We're home! We're really home! They broke into a run, their hearts pounding with pure delight. They imagined their mothers, waiting for them, their cozy nests filled with soft straw, and all their farmyard friends. They had seen so much of the world, but there was truly no place like home. As they reached the old wooden fence that marked the edge of the farm, they paused for a moment, looking back at the dark woods they had traveled through. Too, they felt a sense of pride for their grand adventure, but an even greater sense of gratitude for the safe and loving home they were returning to. With happy chirps and joyful quacks, they slipped under the fence and ran toward the glowing lights, ready to be wrapped in the warmth and comfort of family. For a tiny yellow chick and a brave little duckling, the journey had been long. But the sight that now greeted their tired eyes made every step worthwhile. They were home. The happy farm, their sanctuary, lay spread out before them, bathed in the soft, golden light of the setting sun. Thea was calm, carrying the familiar, comforting sounds of the farm settling down for the night. A gentle mew from the barn, the soft rustle of hay as the sheep found their spots, and the distant, contented clucking of the other chickens. These were the sounds of peace, the sounds of safety. Thebon. Their sturdy, warm home glowed from within, its windows like warm, welcoming eyes promising rest and comfort after their long travels. The tiny yellow chick, fluffier and perhaps a little wiser than when it left, chirped softly. It was a sound of pure relief and happiness. With a final burst of energy, it scampered towards its nest, a familiar, cozy hollow filled with soft, clean straw. It tucked itself in, feeling the comforting warmth surround it. Each feather seemed to sigh with contentment as the chick curled into a small, fluffy ball. The world outside, with all its excitements and uncertainties, faded away. Here, in this nest, everything was right. Not far away, the small duckling found its own perfect spot to rest. It waddled over to a fresh pile of straw near the chick's nest, its little webbed feet happy to be on solid, familiar ground. It gave a soft, happy quack and settled down, tucking its head beneath its wing. The straw was soft and smelled of sunshine and earth, the sweet perfume of home. The two friends were close enough to feel each other's presence, a silent reassurance that they were together and safe. As twilight deepened, painting the sky in shades of purple and deep blue, a profound sense of pride and gratitude washed over them. They had been brave. They had explored the great wide world beyond the farm's familiar fences. They had seen tall trees that seemed to touch the sky and a babbling brook that sang a sparkling song. They had met new creatures and learnt new things. The journey had made them stronger and their friendship even more unbreakable. But now, the greatest feeling of all was the simple joy of being home. The thrill of adventure was exciting, but the peace of returning was a special kind of magic. They could feel the love and safety of the farm wrapping around them like the coziest blanket. There were no more scary shadows or unknown paths to navigate, only the gentle rhythms of the place where they belonged. The tiny chick peeked out from its nest, its beady eyes finding the duckling resting peacefully nearby. It let out a tiny, sleepy chirp, as if to say, "Good night, friend. We did it." The duckling, though seemingly asleep, gave a muffled quack in reply. They had shared an incredible adventure, and now they would share a peaceful, restful night, dreaming of their journey and the happiness of their return. In the heart of the happy farm, under the watchful gaze of a million stars, the two little adventurers were finally at rest. Their hearts were full, their bodies were tired in the best possible way, and they were surrounded by the gentle, loving embrace of home. The farm was quiet, the world was at peace, and for a tiny yellow chick and a small duckling, everything was absolutely perfect.